Ladies, welcome to the video. Coach Jerry here. And I've been going live quite a while in this week. Obviously, we are changing a bunch of stuff. We're introducing new things. And one of the things I wanted you to know or to get more familiar with is why we're able to do as coaches, especially as we do that high level coaching online. Why are we able to give so many results? And, one of the things I thought I could do it's really built a series or almost like a episode type of it's not a podcast because almost like small little webinars, but really teaching you the art of coaching and why to make you aware of why it really takes to actually get a transformation. I see some people watching live. If you're here live, tell me who you are. Say hi. Let me know how your week is going. This is going to be an amazing series. That is going to teach you how you're getting transformation, because some of you understand how, some of you might not be really familiar, but I really feel like what this series is going to do is going to open a lot of eyes to a lot of people and getting them clear on why, or how do you transform people? How does it happen, right? And this is going to be a module inside it's going to be a part of a module inside the website as well. It's going to be a series here in the group. You can locate, if you go on the guides, you can locate, a bunch of information resources inside the group. But basically, this is really a overview or kind of like to show you what does it really take to transform, because the biggest misconception is still people not understanding how does a people change in real life. And this is called the Coaching Meridian, which is basically like saying the coaching compass. And I'm going to share your screen in a second. One of the things that by definition, you always want to try to make it interesting. You always want to try to call something in a kind of like in a cool way. And if I do find the meridian, by definition, is like a pathways of the body, along with the vital energy goes into flow. So it's almost like saying we're really going to try to explain you in real life what does it happen, how do people transform. And I hope that you find this interesting. This is going to be repurposed and obviously in our marketing to actually show people what does it really take for somebody to change. And it is not the classical thing like it's going to take you a bunch of macros, a bunch of exercise, and a bunch of walking to change, but overall is a high level view of how do you change, right? For the most part, I did get some water. My throat is a disaster today. By the way, is any of you impacted from the allergies, like plants allergies and stuff on the outside? I just go walking and it's a disaster for me. Anyway, a transformation, when you see, I'm sharing my screen again. When you see a transformation of this magnitude, and again, we've been doing this now or almost like online for like probably like, I don't know, probably 7-8 years. This is something that you see all the time, without even meeting in person these people, without even knowing exactly what they eat, but to a common pet, they get this transformation and they learn how to keep it. So how is this possible, right? It starts from understanding like what does it really take to transform, and what does it really take to transform is understanding first and foremost what is really your pathways and what is really why is it really important for you. And basically it comes down to this. For most ladies we talk with initially, like they come in a place of not feeling confident in your skin, right? So they are in place A, they are in A and they want to go to B, right? What separates them from not being comfortable is usually something maybe like 30 kilos. We use this example today. Is maybe, not having energy with their kids, no energy, right? Oh my God, this is a disaster all the time. No energy with their kids. Why is it doing that? Oh, okay. Energy for the kids is maybe, no hormone balance. It can be, again, a certain fat percentage, not feeling good, like not be able to wear your clothes, right? Not wear a bikini when you go to the beach. not being able to be confident when you talk to people, or maybe in front, career wise, right? There is always a huge pain in between you and the confident version of yourself. And usually, like, how people come to us and they feel like we're talking to the same people, we feel like you're kind of in our niche of people we can help, is because you realize that everybody that is in this group, for instance, most of them, they are over 40 and they struggle with the same thing, right? And there is this story that you built inside your mind that you cannot achieve a result because you are over 40, right? Because now your hormone is a problem, like common stick point is like, the hormones is slowing me down, metabolism, right? um i was like I was working out, what used to work no longer does. And everything that I'm putting here is true. I mean, everything is true, but you need to, like, one thing that you need to kind of like realize here is that this is something that is a story that you built inside your mind, right? So we know that we need to go from point A and point B, and what separates you from the underconfident to the feeling at your best in your 40, maybe something that you had never got into your life before, is basically this pathway here, right? Is the pathway that we're gonna highlight right now, right? We're gonna go into that right now. The problem is that most people, and this is where most people go wrong, is that they feel like what's gonna separate you from that is is another program. It's something like, okay, I just need a supplement. I need to do some Zumba. I just need to do some supplements. I need to do CrossFit. I'm gonna do, I need a certain diet, right? And this is a expected trajectory. Why do you expect that? It's because you've been told that for the past 20 years by the industry. They say you're like a diet away, right? Only for you to go on YouTube and consume content and podcast and maybe download some guide and get like somebody to write a PDF for you that tells you exactly a meal plan you should follow, only not to follow it. Why is that? Why is that not the information enough? Well, simple. It's very simple. It's like, because this is not about the information. If it was, there would be no obesity. There would be no diseases. There would be no conditions. There would be a lot more people more confident, and there'd probably be more connection in your life. Despite the fact that we live into a world that is filled with technology, we still have a hard time connecting with people, right? We still have a hard time understanding, not saying the things that you want to be saying the things you should be saying whenever you should be saying it, but then you don't say it, that you keep it inside, right? A lot of apprehension, a lot of anxiety for some people, doing a lot of things, building a wrong environment and not be able to do the things you're supposed to be doing, right? That's kind of like a thing. I'm going to make an analogy for this, and this is kind of like one of the things I noticed in here. Or better say, the biggest stick point for everybody when it comes to coaching. They try something for a while, they get some results, they get excited, and then there is this wall of problems in front. There is going to be a problem, barrier. Instead of, like, there is a certain type of people, there is a barrier. You either go through the barrier on the other side and you grow as a person, or you hit the barrier and as soon as you feel uncomfortable, you're coming back. This is most people, and they're stuck. They're stuck here. I'm going to use an analogy. Like I live in Switzerland. I'm from Switzerland. Some of you are from here. I know you can relate. We have the mountains in between the south and the north. There is this big tunnel, and all the time there is lines in front of the tunnel, 3, 4, 5 kilometers all the time. They don't fix it. They don't seem as smart as they are to be able to fix a simple problem, right? And for me, it's like, I'm thinking of the traffic, and I'm always thinking like, I have this choice. I get in front of traffic and I'm going to wait like an hour, and I'm going to feel stuck. I'm going to feel like really frustrated because I cannot move forward, even though I want to move forward. So what do I do instead? I go outside and I go on top of the mountain. You take the longer route. And even if you take a longer route, even if you took the same time, you're always moving. You're always progressing. And the problem with people is they don't understand this part. Progress is the one thing that you need to go towards, not being stuck, not telling yourself this story that, again, is not going to work. That, again, okay, I tried this thing, it's not working, I find this wall, and I'm coming back. And why am I creating this series is because to show you what in fact you should look forward, you should look towards, meaning like what are the things that you actually should look that matters for you to make this transformation. And it's as simple as that. You identify the biggest desire you have is getting confident, and there is no, and you should actually, and I want you to I want you down on the comment box now, you telling me what is your underlying desire, what is it that you're really doing this for, why are you here, whether you are in my program or whether you are watching in the group, what do you really want, right? Like, tell me what is your desire. And of course, the second thing you want to be telling me, what is like separating you from this desire, right? And we know that 30 kilo, 30% body fat, for instance, for many people might be the case. And so, we identified that when you're in your 40, the main problems you're going to fall into, either your body is no longer able to lose weight, right? This one, right? Or your body is able to lose weight, you just don't know how to do it. We identified this is the only two reasons why you cannot lose this 30 kilo, right? Now, what happens afterwards with me or any of my coaches, what happens afterwards is that this thing is always tricky on me. What we do, and by the way, when you get onto a phone call with me, even before the program, I'm actually giving you this strategy. Like, the funny part is that a lot of people, when I say get a phone call with me, you don't value that. It's like they guys think like there is some sort of like whatever situation behind. It's like, I'm just trying to help you out here. Like, I'm telling you why your body cannot lose weight or why it can, and I'm giving you a strategy, right? And why am I giving it away like that? Because I know that even if you got this thing, 90% of people still struggle after that. 90%. When you work with me, you develop a strategy, right? Directly. And usually that strategy is usually two simple things. It's like, you either do the strategy, right? So you do the strategy, or you do them, if it's multiple strategy. And it comes down to the fact that you either, get two-way results, and it's going to be, yes, I get the results, or maybe I get slow results. And then we need to optimize. If you don't get results, we need to make things easier. Or if you do get results, you basically stick to what you have, right? The 50% of people will have a strategy, like, which is nothing like magical in my strategy, but even if you go on Google, you get a strategy for losing 30 kilo. You don't do that. You find some sort of excuse not to do it. And it's not because you're a bad person. It's just because you don't understand how the problems rise up. Phase 2, weight loss, has a bunch of problems. Why weight loss is not happening. Phase 1 has a bunch of problems. Why metabolism is not ready to lose weight. You're doing too much cardio. You're walking too much. Even though you've been told not to walk too much, you're walking anyway because the logic tells you should, not understanding what the problem is. You are insulin resistant. You don't understand how to tackle that. You're looking for the fact that your sugar should be just based, like, should be balanced right now. You don't understand that you need to sit on the long run, on a long haul, right? Those are problems which include micro problems. For the sake of the logic, I'm going to use one that is easy for you to understand, is that problems on weight loss, you establish a calorie goal, a calorie deficit, and you know that lack of this happening is because you might be drinking alcohol, because the weekends might be different than the week. You might have been under-reporting calories. You're emotional eating. I'm going to use that as a problem for you to understand the sub-problem. The sub-problem is that when you're emotionally eating, you're in front of the TV, or maybe that's one scenario. The other scenario is like you're mindlessly eating at work, because this identity you built as an emotional eater tells you that even if you do it one time, it doesn't matter, you're going to start on Monday. You might be snaking at work. You might not be really clear on why you're eating. You might be eating because you're bored, because you're sad, because of whatever it is. So as you see here, how coaching creates transformation is not about, you're not a diet away. I hope you understand that now. You're not a diet away. You're basically all this away. And it doesn't look like I can change that. Oh, yes, I can. When you don't do a strategy is the issue. And this is why you need coaching, or some sort of coaching, because like, we're going to identify the problem. And then from there, what happens is simple. It's like either me, Coach Jennifer, or any other coach in the program is going to give you a new strategy for you to work with. going back on the same cycle of success, which is basically need to be that you do the strategy after that, right? We said that you need a new strategy right now, and after that you need to do the strategy. It's as simple as that. And again, like, I wanted to create this series. It's not going to be an episode, it's going to be multiple episodes, to show you what does it really take for people to change, and how change is really made up on. Because the reality is that people don't know. Like, the reality is that people don't know. And the thing is that, and I see some people are commenting, my underlying desire is live young as long as I can. See, that's the desire. And the question is now, what is preventing you from living that life, right? What is preventing you? If the answer is like not having enough energy, probably we need to identify problems to get you more energy. What is not allowing you to get more energy? So as you can see here is the way you've been coached and you've been geared to a transformation is a lot different than you think. Yes, calorie matters. Yes, the macro matters. Yeah, the building the right type of workout matter. But if we go back to problems, for instance, on metabolic restoration, if your body is not ready to lose weight, you need to look into which workout is the right, which exercise is the right, how much you need recovery, how much are we going to lower stress, how are we going to lower stress. It's much more complex than people think to make it up. And this is why I wanted to open some eyes and show you that what you've been told until today, or at least a good portion of it, is not wrong, but it's very much less than you need to hear, much less complicated. They make it seem like less complicated than it is, and there is no way to simplify a complicated problem. This is what I learned into my whole career. So what is this about? It was really to show you, hopefully, how we're really going to move forward when it comes to your transformation, and how do you really get to transform. If you're watching this, as you know as well, we always do challenges, and one thing is coming up soon is our carb cycling challenge. That's going to go very close to this model, this challenge, and any other big challenge that is coming up. If you're watching this inside the module on the course, and you miss the carb cycling challenge, you're going to find a tab that shows you all the videos about that as well. But when you have these kind of things, like, especially if you're working with me, take those challenges, because like these are it's a way for you to actually really transform. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful. This is going to be only one of many episodes. Hopefully, if you do like this kind of thing, it's going to make clear how do you get coached and why this is important. Jerry here. I gotta run. I have a coaching call. I'm going to talk to you soon, and hopefully you have a fantastic week.